Hi, and welcome to this installment of Frank and Mary here in Westborough, the COVID-19 version. If you haven't seen the show before, my name is Art Bergeron. I'm an elder law attorney at Myrick O'Connell, but this has nothing to do with elder law. It has a lot to do with Frank and Mary, my friends and the people I always talk about who want to live in their house until they die and be buried in the backyard. And if you're in Westborough, that means you want to be right here. You don't want to be leaving. So the point of this show always was to talk about people you need to know, programs you need to know about in order to stay right here in Westborough. And that's why I got this great co-host, Shelby Marshall, because she knows everybody. She's one of those players, you know, she just knows everybody in Westborough. So the COVID-19 version of this show, we really designed to show more regularly and to help folks who are trying to deal with the COVID-19 day to day, because we realize, life used to, change every once in a while, and now it changes like every week. And so that's why we're doing this show. And Shelby has brought on a number of great guests. Representative Dykema was on in our last episode. We've had a number of officials. But Shelby really suggested bringing in someone who is actually another one of those Westborough people, those little many gems that live here in Westborough, to talk about kind of a more fundamentally how you may be able to dealing with all this. How you are dealing with it, how you may be able to want to consider dealing with it. So Shelby, can we talk about who our guest is today?
Hi, Arthur. How are you? Great to see you.
Great to see you again. I miss not being able to just kind of like nudge you from next to you on the screen and stuff. So I'll be glad when that comes back. But anyway, whom do we have today?
So thank you so much. So today we are so lucky to have a longtime Westborough resident, Michelle Grasso, with us. She is a licensed mental health counselor. She is owner of Synergy Wellness Center in Hudson. And the reason why I asked Michelle to be our guest is because as we had Kara Presley on, our Director of Youth and Family Services, a couple episodes ago, and we talked about the very real concerns of everyone's mental health and wellness. And we heard that. I think we sort of intuitively know that, but I don't know about our viewers, but yesterday, today is Wednesday, we're taping this on Wednesday. Yesterday, the governor announced that the kids are not going back to school for the rest of the year. And we have lots of grandparents raising kids, so this affects them as well. And I know that I personally, even though I sort of intuitively thought it's not going to happen, I had that, oh, excuse my language, crap, like seriously? And I kind of went into this funk yesterday afternoon, and I was just like, if I could be an emoji, it was meh. And I was really kind of sad. And so unplanned with that announcement, but, Michelle and I talked about her coming on as a guest because I wanted her to really talk to us about certainly the importance of wellness, but what can you do? Like, what can you do if you're Frank and Mary or one of Frank and Mary's friends and you're confined to your space, your social distancing, but you're scared, you haven't seen your family, maybe you've lost someone, you haven't been able to grieve properly. Michelle is going to be our cure-all for all of that today.
Well, that's exciting. Thank you very much for coming on the show, Michelle.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate the invitation. I guess, the one message I'd really like to impart first would be to just to invite your audience to really ride this wave. And at Synergy, we're recommending that to a lot of our clients because it's so important to allow yourself now to just not feel okay and to know we don't have control over the situation. This kind of thing has never happened before in most of our lifetimes. And the reasons are real. As you said, we know people who are sick. We may have lost loved ones. We may have family or friends who are pregnant or new parents who have a different set of concerns. And we may be worried about ourselves if we're older or if we have loved ones with compromising health conditions. So feeling anxiety right now is absolutely normal. And just to allow it and to let yourself ride the wave of those feelings. For some people, it may also bring up past events where there have been trauma, where there have been times that have felt out of control for them. So these times are triggering, not just for what we're experiencing now, but for what people may have experienced in the past. And additionally, just around what we might be feeling, isolation is another, real factor, as well as grief at missing people that we're not getting to see all the time, or the things we liked to do. So this is uncharted territory, a lot of uncertainty, and I'm just asking for people to be gentle with them, with yourself, and know that it's okay to not feel okay.
Yeah, Michelle, it's interesting you mentioned like the friends piece. So, there have been moments where I've personally been like, I want to see friends. I miss my friends. And my most of my family is away right now. They're in Florida, so I can't see them. And I'm sort of but we could be okay, 6-10 feet apart and sit in a big circle. And in fairness to them, they're not, but I found myself kind of angry. Like, why can't we just do this, you guys? We're okay. We can wear masks, we can wear gowns, we can wear up. And sort of, it's been hard to be respectful, to be really candid of their concerns, because I'm kind of like, but I miss you guys. Mm-hmm. And so, that's just a very personal feeling that I've had. And I'm one of the lucky ones because I'm an essential worker and I get to be out and doing things and I'm not confined. So I can't imagine for people that are constantly sort of in their four walls, sometimes in very small spaces, and what they, those feelings.
Yeah. Yeah. You get a little bit stir crazy and tempted to get out. So it's
yeah, I haven't, as a disclaimer, so that people don't think like I'm breaking social distancing laws, but rules.
Yeah.
So oops. I just lost our feed. Are you guys there?
Yep, we're there.
Okay, so I lost my visual, but we'll continue. So Michelle, would you talk to us about what are some of the strategies you might suggest to our viewers to ride that wave?
Yeah, sure. I have a few ideas to share. And the first is really to keep to a schedule. Routines are so important right now when, we're sort of at home and not getting out to do sort of some of the typical day-to-day. So try to get up and go to bed around the same time, get dressed, have your, meals and routines as closely as you can to before this all kind of started. It's really important to just keep some consistency in your day-to-day. Those are some of the first things that we can kind of let go of in terms of, schedules. And there's another thing that's really important, and it's around joy. Okay. Thinking about the things that you used to love to do, again, before we were sort of at home. Make a list of the things that you really, really enjoy, and pick one of those to do each day. So you have something to look forward to. It might be a puzzle, it might be reading, taking a walk, listening to some of your favorite music, something that makes you smile. The CDC said nothing about not having fun. Okay, so it's still okay, to bring joy and to feel, to smile. And you did mention, Shelby, about seeing each other in an outside way. Perhaps there are safe ways for people to visit, either through windows or through, distance apart through screens, or even in the driveway. I've certainly seen family members visiting seniors. I've been seeing my mom that way. So we can still sort of see each other safely, but it does need to be really carefully thought out. But doing things that bring you joy, really important.
I suppose that's a great point. That's a real challenge, because while there are a whole bunch of things that bring a lot of us joy, we tend to be doing the same things every day. I found myself, I was talking, recently, actually, with the producer of this show. We were just talking about, I was reading this book about habit and how we have habits and the way in which they run our lives, and the stress involved in changing a habit is just a gigantic thing. Mm-hmm. And it occurred to me in reading the book how that's one of the reasons why I find it very difficult every day. I find it difficult doing everything I do now because everything seems complicated because none of it has habit involved anymore. There are so few of those. So there were a whole bunch of those things that you really like doing. I think some of your examples are great. Just doing a puzzles, reading a book, listening to some music. Music is pretty much everywhere, you know. But you tend to just kind of not do them, right? Because that's not kind of what you would traditionally be doing, right?
Right.
And so to really kind of pick and choose some new ones really would be a wonderful thing.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I mean, some people that have some free time are doing things like, learning a language online. There are a lot of options for a lot of free ways to, to try something new. There's a lot of opportunities for free classes of different sorts. So, but the point about bringing joy and trying to do at least one thing each day that you have to look forward to. Okay. I do want to talk a little bit about nighttime. I think nighttime, shifting from routines a little bit, but nighttime routines are particularly important as you approach the time to go to sleep, and really taking at least 1 hour before you go to sleep to wind down. For folks who generally, having no TV or no screens is ideal, but some people really do enjoy watching television before they go to sleep. And I would just suggest, staying away from the news and watching something light and, humor filled and upbeat.
Are you recommending Tiger King? I've heard so much about that. I have no idea. I've never watched it.
I personally like the HGTV, like Find Your House in the Caribbean or something, I don't know. But, something that you really enjoy that's light and, will kind of drift you off to sleep. And one of the other things that we're hearing a lot from people, and I know certainly for myself, it's gotten a little bit better in the last few days, but a lot of nighttime waking is happening where people are waking in the middle of the night and then having difficulty getting back to sleep. And then so what do you do? I would suggest to not kind of make yourself suffer and toss and turn. I would suggest getting up a little bit, make yourself a cup of tea, perhaps read, look at a photo album, knit, whatever it is that is quiet, that's restful, that's going to just kind of different than laying in bed, but that will sort of ease you back into a restful state. Because nighttime.
So I've gotten comments from several relatives that they said, well, if you wake up, just call me. I'll be up too. So
right.
I think a lot of those 2 a.m. conversations are not necessarily just on email anymore. People are actually just,
You're absolutely right. And especially if they're in a different time zone, you can probably hit them, and I think that, even if you get a good night's sleep, if you're fortunate to have a good night's sleep, one thing that's important to realize is underlying all of this, there's a lot of mental exhaustion that's going on. So even as we're making our coffee or our tea, I don't know about you, but I just sort of have this thing in my stomach that, occasionally goes away, but it's there most of the time. But that we just need to realize that what's going on around us is affecting our bodies. And so, take a rest during the day if you need to, if you haven't had a good rest, and just to acknowledge that, what's going on is has an emotional toll and a physical toll, even if we're not realizing it. Okay. I'd like to try something out with you because one of the really important pieces here, I think, and you referenced it, Arthur, around some of the routines that you do that even though you're doing them, it doesn't feel like how it used to feel, is around mindfulness and practicing mindfulness and gratitude. When there are times of stress, breathing is often, the first thing that we lose, and that we, gets shallow, and then we're sort of our nervous system is going quickly, and restoring the breath to a relaxed state is a wonderful way to slow down our nervous systems. And there is a very easy 4-count breath that I would like to take you through. If we could do a couple of these together, maybe 3 rounds of these together for your audience to have as something that they can turn to anytime. We can just be seated in a chair or standing or wherever you're most comfortable. But I'd like to just take you through that. Would that be okay?
Oh,
That'd be
this
great.
sounds great. Shelby had told me this was going to be part of the show. I was like, oh, I'm so looking forward to this.
Okay. So what I'm going to invite everyone to do is to put your hand on your belly, on your lower belly area. And what we're going to practice doing is really feeling our hand rise as we inhale with our belly and then fall as we exhale. So I'm going to lead you through a 4-count breath where we're going to breathe in for 4 counts. We're going to hold it for 4 counts, and then we're going to exhale for 4. We're going to do this 3 times. And this is just a wonderful, wonderful way to slow down your nervous system. So let's all take a minute to do this, okay? So I'd like everyone to take a deep breath in and feel your belly go up. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Again. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Release. 2, 3, and 4. One more. Inhale. Belly rise. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. And release. 2, 3, 4. How do you feel?
Oh, I could do that a lot. I, I think Shelby, you want to extend the show a little bit? We could probably just keep doing this, for
We,
10 or 20.
of course, our audience might fall asleep, which, that's okay. They'd be in a calm state of mind. That's good.
It's a wonderful discipline, and so I'll just do a kind of a anecdote. Often, I tend to travel because I have to go to I do a lot of work on Martha's Vineyard in Nantucket, and I typically go on Thursdays. I drive early Thursday mornings. But I'll tell my wife will say, "Oh, doesn't that bother you?" I'll say, "No, actually, it's very relaxing because I meditate while I'm driving."
Mm.
And she was like, "You can't be meditate while you're driving. You're going to fall asleep." And I said, and I tell her, I say, no, you don't get it. Meditation, it makes you more awake. It doesn't necessarily make you well, but I guess it depends on kind of what you're doing. But to get to that place where we just were, even for a minute, that's really special.
So I think that it's so important for our nervous systems to really just, have that break. And this literally just, takes your breath inside and allows you to just focus on your tummy and how your hand is rising and falling. And if you can just do that for a few breaths, and if you want to try it for a few more, it's something that everyone can do. And if you feel that you can't hold for 4, that's okay. You just do what you can.
I was going to say that was sort of when I got there, I was like ready to let it go. It's like, oh no, hold it.
But it's called the 4-count breath, and it is practiced, throughout the world for thousands of years, and really, is just a wonderful, wonderful way that we can all access breathing. I know for me personally, I've been taking some of our online yoga classes, and on some days that's like the hour a day that I feel like I breathe properly, and I'm so grateful, and just recognizing that it is something that we you know we need to practice. So
Michelle, so I appreciate you bringing us through that exercise. One of the things I'd love to understand is, I mean, your the nature of your work is very hands-on. It's one-to-one or one-to-many, if I guess it's a class. How have you adjusted your business? I'm curious to know that. And how are you still connecting with your clients?
Sure. Yeah, so it's been, challenging for all small businesses, and we've been very fortunate. So Synergy is a full wellness center where we, on a typical day, offer mental health counseling services, yoga and meditation classes, acupuncture and Chinese medicine, massage therapy, life coaching, energy healing, nutritional work. I don't know what I'm forgetting. So we've been able to pivot quickly. In fact, before we closed, we're offering yoga and meditation classes. We have 20 classes a week online, and invite anyone who would like to try us out, we have an unlimited classes for 30 days for just $30 for all new students, which is a wonderful way to experience meditation or some gentle yoga. We have chair yoga. Again, really a wonderful way. One of the strengths, I think, of our yoga team is the sense of community. Coming to Synergy prior to this, it felt it's a personal connection that we have with everyone, and we've been able to maintain that community and grow our community. In fact, with many new students over the last 5 weeks through our online classes. So they're live, and if by chance you sign up for a class and you couldn't make it for some reason, we'll send you a recording of the class. So you'll have the benefit either way.
That's great.
The other service that has been really critical is an essential service is our mental health counseling. And we quickly also transitioned that to telehealth. So our clients are all being seen through telehealth. So it's a video, platform. And it's been wonderful. We are also accepting referrals for new patients, and we take many of the most highly utilized commercial insurance plans. And we're offering 15-minute complimentary phone consultations for people who are having a hard time. They're welcome to call us at 978-333-7426. And our clinical intake team is there to talk and to see how we can support you and if you would like any other ongoing support from us.
Great. Thank you very much. We'll make sure we have your website and phone number on the screen for viewers. So the crack team behind the scenes at Westborough TV will help us with that. I want to thank you so much for being our guest. I would encourage folks to take a few minutes a day. I'm going to take your advice, Michelle, take my own advice of do some breathing, because I think we just need to take care of ourselves. I know you can't be a caregiver if you're not taking care of yourself. So particularly folks who may be helping to care for a spouse in these days, take that moment by yourself just to do some exercises and ground yourself, feel good about yourself, and kind of be ready for the day, because it's not easy.
Yeah. If it's okay, Shelby, to just share one more thought, which would be for anyone who may be watching who is, you mentioned earlier, grandparents may be raising grandkids, or you may have, or any seniors that may be watching, to please not underestimate your ability to bring comfort to others. I think sometimes there's a tendency, I know I have my mom's 86 and having some health issues, she doesn't want to burden me, and I'm trying to do everything that she doesn't want me to do. But this tendency of, not wanting to sort of feel like someone's bothering someone for help. But please know that the younger people in your life, miss you, number one, and that, that your experiences and words really have a wonderful impact on all of us. And they may be just the words that we need to hear. You've lived longer maybe than many of us. And if anyone can get through this and have the right mentality, it's you. So please don't estimate your ability to bring support and comfort to those around you.
That's an excellent point. Thank you for sharing that, because we're all interconnected.
Yeah.
So Arthur, I don't know about you, but I feel very good about this show.
I feel better already.
Me too.
This was really wonderful. This was really, really wonderful. And I think it's really helpful, especially at this time. People are very, very, so thank you very much for being here. Shelby, thank you for finding this wonderful guest.
Sure.
And we'll be back in just a couple of seconds with Shelby Marshall's quick update on what's happening in Westborough. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you both. Take care.
We're back, and now Shelby Marshall has been breathing in the background in order to kind of get herself together for this, and now she's going to give you a breathtaking update on what's happening here in Westborough right now. Shelby Marshall.
Oh my goodness. Thanks, Arthur. So I just want to let folks know that we continue to have joint meetings between the Board of Selectmen and Board of Health. Those are televised as they are taking place through Westborough TV. You can also watch them streaming through the government channels through your computer. Those meetings continue to be very helpful. Certainly, I've heard from many in the public where information is being shared. Last night, there was an update on the number of cases in Westborough. Sadly, the number of deaths, we've lost 13 members of our community to COVID. And so certainly want to take a moment to acknowledge that and to acknowledge all of the amazing work that is being done by the town departments, first responders, essential workers. And when I say essential, I mean everyone who's stocking shelves to those that are providing hands-on care. So I think the most exciting and perhaps uplifting news is that the task force that was assembled a couple weeks ago continues to meet. That's a collective group of community groups and town departments that are identifying needs within the community for all ranges, families, elders, etc. And those needs are largely being met, but we continue to make sure that they're being bubbled up. And we are actually in the process of creating a fund for financial assistance for residents of the community. So we anticipate launching that fund on May 1st. It will, we'll have, on our next show, Arthur will be prepared to talk about the details of that. But for folks that are able to donate to that, we want to be able to provide folks with, to address food insecurity, maybe utility assistance, whatever some of those basic needs might be. And Westborough has historically been a very generous community. And I know lots of folks are saying, how can I help? And I'm willing to, I'm in a position to donate. So we're going to open the doors on that and let the funds flow in. So I'm very excited about the work being done there.
Shelby, that's a great summary. And I think when you first talked about the creation of that committee, I said, this is a classic Westborough kind of immediate response, getting people together, everybody stepping up. It's like that tradition of Westborough Connects, people really realizing that they're all in it together. They're all in it together. And I have to say, kind of speaking as a senior, I really appreciate that. I appreciate that because we realized, that the numbers show, it's the seniors who are at risk. There are a lot of people who are at risk, but statistically, the chances are much greater that something really bad could happen if you're a senior. So that to see the whole rest of the town really kind of stepping up and stepping in, that's a wonderful thing.
We're also establishing a central resource line number. So lots of folks are connected to the Senior Center or Youth and Family Services or whatever, but we are in the process of establishing that. And one last thing that I learned the other day, domestic violence, sadly in these times, is on the rise. And I did not know that you can text 911 if that's the way that you need to connect to public safety officials versus calling. So I didn't know that, learned that yesterday. So, but please be safe. Please.
So if you're one of those teenagers whose parent right now is going, you can always call 911. No, I shouldn't perhaps use that example. So anyway, for all of you out there, thank you very, very much for watching. For Shelby Marshall, thanks once again. I hope this is helpful for people. I know it's very helpful for me and a lot of fun. And we will see you all next time on the next installment of Frank and Mary here in Westborough, the COVID-19 version. Thank you very much. Thank you, Shelby.